kid.
No.
Yeah.
You said the wax. I had to wax the chest.
That's not quite what happened.
The chest wasn't shaved; it was waxed.
And then
Distinction.
first shot up was Kevin, Veronica, and Betty walking in the hallway.
I love that.
And I don't think you'd ever been on camera before, and it was immediately. It was incredible. So that's one of my favorite Casey stories. Yeah.
Casey, you're amazing in the show.
I'll never forget that first day, but I do remember there was one time when I was a little off my mark and Lily gave me like a little. And that's when I knew she was a great friend.
And the fact that she has the matching tattoo with her TV mom.
Yeah. I mean, I got his back. We're both from Cleveland.
Oh, well, then there you
Yeah.
go. Cleveland rocks.
Midwestern buddies,
Poor guys.
Lily, Betty has gone through such an emotional development on the show.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you as an actor?
I mean, amazing. It's kind of all you could really hope for is to be able to play a character that evolves and that you can show so many different sides of them. And my favorite thing about playing Betty is that she's constantly changing. So it's like, we're playing her as a real modern teenage girl, and that doesn't have a finish line. You're constantly going to be evolving and changing and growing. And so it's kind of a never-ending process to create this girl. And diving even deeper and into more emotional things. Dark Betty kind of comes back in season 2.
Dark Betty's become a thing now.
Dark Betty.
Hashtag Dark Betty.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's wonderful.
Shit, Lily, you're good at this. I watch you. You're really good at that.
About what? Answering the question?
Yeah, it's great to hear you talk about it.
Trust me, he's done a zillion panels. That's a high compliment, right? He knows what he's talking about. Yeah.
I'll just sit and watch.
You're my Midwestern buddy, too.
You bet.
Yeah,
Look at that.
we stick together.
Well, sit close together. Sarah, I mean, one of the things about the casting for Riverdale is obviously you have icons of a previous television generation and then a whole new, let's call them next-gen stars. That's obviously intentional. Can you give us a bit of a sense about that? Or were you just I want anyone who's on 90120 and Twin Peaks, come work for me?
I mean, there's definitely some of that, I'll be honest. I gave myself curfews when I was very, very young, a small child, to watch Twin Peaks and 90210 when it was on. So this is like me at 14 being like, look, I'm putting my shows together. Which, by the way, would have been amazing. But I think that what was fun for me is that this is Roberto's lifelong passion and his vision for these characters. He has had them in his head for his whole life. And so I think some of it that was I was just able to help him with was visualize it, being like, Camilla, put on these pearls. Because in Roberto's mind, she's always wearing pearls, and that kind of stuff where you could just sort of help to create. But we met so many actors, and I think we found the best cast of young actors
We spent
on television.
7 months casting, and it was
And then one
grueling.
quick drive to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just be clear about that.
No, but it was so fun to, and that's one of the things that Greg and I get to do a lot with a lot of our casts is really discover people, and it's just been such a pleasure, and I remember every one of their auditions. I actually met KJ before he read, and he had no questions about the script. He was just like, well, I have to dye my hair, and I was like, yes.
Answer yes.
Yeah.
It was like we weren't even, that meeting wasn't even for Riverdale.
Yeah, it was just in general, and I was like, hey,
And I looked at the comics, I was like, oh, what's that? And you were like, oh, it's Archie comics. And I was like, and you were telling me about how you were casting it. And I was like, oh, does whoever goes for that, are they going to need to dye their hair? And
I was like, yes, you will have to dye your hair.
But that's a really good hair, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not too orange. It's just perfect
As a
on the head.
That's a hard color because a lot of people end up Bowie orange, which looks great on Bowie.
It was really
It
stressful.
was really very
Caruso,
stressful.
you don't want that.
Before he dyed his hair.
Boom.
You're right, the Caruso, that's a good one.
That
that
you don't
doesn't
want
work.
that. You don't want that.
It's too bright.
It's also
that.
And
great.
everyone
It's
says you
probably
make
the
it a Caruso.
most hair dye on a show because,
We all dye our
yeah.
Yeah.
oh, man.
Well,
This is
not
all
all.
Madeline.
Yeah, none of you guys have to dye your eyebrows.
Yeah, the Little Mermaid down there.
I get my eyebrows bleached every 2 weeks.
He said,
Yeah.
And it's a primetime show, you got to do it.
You gotta do
Huge
it, man.
eyebrows, too. Do you know how much bleach it takes to bleach eyebrows?
Is there a bleach shortage in Vancouver now?
Yeah.
There's a black market for sure.
Let's talk to Cheryl Blossom. Because it definitely, if there's one redhead that gives competition to Archie on Riverdale, that's Cheryl Blossom.
Yeah, well,
It's competition to
That's
everybody.
the story of the Blossoms and the way that it is really the dark underbelly of Riverdale. What's that like for you, playing that out? Because you're obviously playing someone who's not always that pleasant. And someone who's also grieving at the same time and also suffering through a lot of her own stuff from her family.
I mean, for me, it was all about creating the anger and the hurt and the place where all the lashing out comes from, and then building the walls that she's got towards everybody and finding out the reasons why she has those walls and developing her with like a way of understanding why she's like that and not judgment and not sympathetic, but like understanding. And from there, it was kind of easy because you built this facade as to why she's so hard towards everybody else, because she doesn't have love. She's never been loved before. And it's actually quite tragic. And it's
Except for JJ.
well, there's JJ, but not anymore, as we all know. So now she's tragically alone. And it's really a beautifully tragic story to tell, and I feel really blessed to be able to do it. She's the villain, obviously, but she's got so much more to her than that, and as the season kind of unfolds, you really see that towards the end.
Yeah,
I think she does, because you bring it, Mads. I mean, in the hands of a lesser actress, that's like a two-dimensional bad kind
Yeah.
of thing. But when Mads gets a hold of it, it just goes to this different place.
No, I remember
because, I
in the
mean-
pilot, I remember the scene where you were looking at pictures of Jason and started crying, and I just marveled at, like, we were running around, remember, it was like we had no time for
I
anything.
remember that day so well.
And then suddenly she just, like, zoned in, and there it was, and she brings so much humanity to it, and it's all these actors, they bring so much depth to the parts, and I think that's and Alice Cooper as well.
Woo!
Another
I love
villainous,
him. One of my
lovable
favorite
woman.
musicians of all time.
I do think when I watch the show, I sometimes wonder if School's Out's going to be playing in the background. Just once or twice. Just once or twice. It'd just be so good.
Until we have him on the show. We had an
John,
idea
John
about
has wanted to get Alice Cooper on
Yeah.
the show.
We had an idea about having him on.
Wait a second.
We wanted him to play the mortician.
Right.
We wanted him to play Dr.
Where do you think he got his name from?
Yeah,
He took
yeah.
it from.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a perfect Salvador.
He would be great.
Yeah.
You should be a
Alice versus Alice.
He was
Who will
gonna be
win?
Kevin until I found my passport.
Relax.
Good thing you found that passport, is all I can say to that one.
Yeah.
That would have been weird in high school.
Yeah.
Guys, we want to go to some questions from the audience soon, but I wanted to, AJ, up on stage here with everyone, what's been your favorite scene or your favorite part of the season so far?
You could get in so much trouble.
The one with
No
Alice Cooper.
spoilers, KJ.
We all know what it is.
Roberto, hence the term so far.
Okay, so far, great.
Okay.
Wait, you mean like since what we've seen?
Yeah.
Your favorite scene from the finale.
Where Alice Cooper shows up, of course, as everybody knows, right?
Yeah, no, that's a really hard question because I enjoy, so much to do with our show. But I think it's working with these guys and getting to know them, and we've become really tight, kind of a tight family. But yeah, I really enjoy the relationships that I've had with these guys, and I think that's what it's all about.
What he needs to say is that his favorite scene is the one where he makes out with me on the couch.
That's what I was
Your favorite
I mean,
Yeah.
Interpreting this
Will we have subtitles later?
in there.
Tammy,
New
was
Zealand
that protection?
subtitles. It was when we were on the couch.
Right.
But in terms of actual like on screen like scenes and stuff, it'll probably be the party scenes. I really enjoyed that. That was a really fun episode.
The
for
party.
sure.
Oh, the party.
shooting that.
What's it like for you when you do the musical scenes?
I play the guitar. Singing for me is really, I feel really uncomfortable when I'm singing.
Hence you spend some time with a music teacher.
We know.
Yeah. When I learned that I had to sing on the show, it made me really nervous, and I knew that I was going to have to step out of my comfort zone for sure. But yeah, I think I really grew from that. But if I have a guitar in my hand, I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah, and that's great because outside the comfort zone, that's where all the good stuff is, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And TJ can sing.
He can actually sing.
I don't know.
Oh, he can.
No, you can sing. We've seen the show. You can sing.
He can definitely shred.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. And, wait. He killed it at the rap party, right?
What did he sing?
He played.
He played.
He played my favorite song.
Awesome.
Me and Luke was singing, and we no rehearsal, nothing. We just turned up on the day and did it. It was Panama
Like
by
rock and
Van
rollers
Halen.
that you are.
That's a great song.
It's my favorite song.
That's your favorite song of all time?
And he
And
shredded
we just
it.
ripped it.
It's a great song. So you sang Panama?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was so good.
It was amazing.
Was it just the two of you, or was
Oh,
it
we had a band.
band?
We got a band.
We sang.
What?
I sang, absolutely.
Oh, this is
That's the
Joan
thing.
Jett.
this is Van Riverdale.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't go to rap parties, much less show up and sing at them. This was awesome. This was all
That was my favorite experience from season.
Why, Roberto? You got to let him sing Panama on the show.
It's
You got it.
Open invitation.
got it.
Open invitation.
I'm sure if you gave David Lee Roth one walk on,
Right.
he'd give you the right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
One walk.
Well said.
He's stuck up in Pasadena
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now. He'd get out. He likes it. Lily, for you and Camilla, obviously the relationship between Veronica and Betty is the other heart, if not the actual heart of the Archie series, the legacy, and obviously the crowd. And it truly is a case of opposites attract. So I wanted to get a sense for you guys. How familiar were you guys with the comics before you got on the show?
Not very familiar.
Not very.
No.
So did they throw like 1,000 issues at you and you just
Yes.
crash course?
Yeah, I got sent a
I never got mine.
So sad.
It was so sad. But I mean, I downloaded the app because I'm a modern gal. And I just purchased a lot. And then it kind of... Yeah, I kind of like got like the ones that have like through the decades, you know, to kind of get a gist of like how it's,
Oh, look, she's still
how
really
it's
difficult.
evolved.
Oh,
Yeah, she's still really mean. But yeah, and then we kind of took that as inspiration into.
Yeah, but I think we were also lucky in the sense that we didn't really have any preconceived notions about these girls. We kind of, because we knew that the show wasn't going to be a direct carbon copy of the comics, so we were able to kind of start with a little bit of a blank slate and kind of work up from there and really build these women as three-dimensional, modern, young, little women that they are.
Girls.
Yeah, I mean, and it was very collaborative between us and between Roberto and Roberto.
You know, I have to say, one of the things that when we started working on the show, John and Sarah and Greg and the cast, and everyone, all the executives, they really wanted the show to not be a lot of bitching between Betty and Veronica. They really wanted the girls to be friends.
God.
And I also
I think that was a good decision.
And I also have to give a shout out to someone who's in the audience, and his name is Tom Sherman. He's over there, and he
stand up.
is an executive. An executive at the CW who really believed in this project when a lot of people didn't. And I want to give him full props for something, and that is Fred Andrews. And he really said early on one of the core relationships will be between Archie and his dad. And I think in the pilot there's a big scene between Archie and his dad towards the end of the pilot when Archie talks about his struggles. And I think that's the scene that I kept rewriting over and over again because Tom kept saying it's got to be true. It's got to be true. I have a son. And I just want to give him full props. He also was a big supporter and like, Roberta, don't make these girls kind of catty and things like that. So I want to give him full props for that as well.
Nice. One of the things too about the show is there's a lot of the complexity of relationships. Obviously, we've seen tonight's episode where Molly shows up as Mrs. Andrews. Very difficult. We're going to see Mr. Lodge in season 2. Yep. There's obviously been issues in your household. Little bit.
Yeah.
People come, people go, people really go.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Cole, there's your relationship with your father and everything about your father and what that